It's the start of a new year and I am upping my nail art game. What's up, nail crew? It's Nicole, your fellow nail obsessed DIYer. Today, we're going to try a bunch of things with stamping, particularly chrome stamping, and I am going to show you what not to do about 1,000,000 times and show you the huge mess that I made, what works and what doesn't. First, we're going to start off by doing my dip mani as the base. I have builder gel on my natural nails like I always do, and then I'm going to do my dip mani over top of that. Since I have builder gel on, I only need to do 2 layers of my dip mani. I don't need to build an apex since my apex is already built with the builder gel. I use this gorgeous white. I think it's like the 3rd or 4th time I've used it since I got it. So that's saying a lot about the color. It's called My Feet Could Be More Than Weapons. It's this gorgeous shimmery white that just looks great under decals and under stamping. So I wanted to use it in today's video under my stamp manis. I had this idea that I was going to do plaid chrome stamping. If you've been watching my videos, you'll know that I've been trying to do as many possible different nail art things as I can without having to use gels. So I have been wanting to try to figure out how to do chrome without any gels. And I tried before and I didn't like how it turned out. So I watched a bunch more videos, thought that I knew what they did, but when you watch this video, you're gonna see that I definitely made a bunch of mistakes. This gorgeous white was my base. When I'm dipping a white, I really like to try to make sure I apply my dip base evenly because white tends to show like all the mistakes a lot more than other colors. Now, since it's a shimmer, it's a lot easier to work with. So if you mess up a little bit on a shimmer, it's definitely harder to see than if you mess up on a solid color, which is why I like to use shimmers a lot, even though I actually have been using a lot of solids. I typically tend to do solids on my left hand and shimmers on my right since I'm right-handed. Now, I didn't want to get any of the gorgeous foil that I'm going to use stuck on this white glitter or stuck on the white shimmer, so I made sure that I dipped in clear and activated it before I went and pulled out the foil. Because if you've ever dipped a foil dip before, you know that shit gets everywhere. You're literally like inhaling foils up your nose by the end of the night, or the end of whenever you're doing it. So I do wear a mask every time that I dip. I don't get dip flu, but I like to wear a mask just to be safe because I don't want to ever get dip flu. And also I feel like you probably shouldn't be breathing in inhaling in all the dip powder. So I like to make sure I wear a mask. Whenever I'm working with a foil, a flake, or a glitter, I lay my nail flat into it. It just helps to get a better application. And then I usually put a piece of washi tape or painter's tape or masking tape if you don't have any washi tape. You put it on one of the fingers on your opposite hand. So I like to put it on my middle finger and then I can just gently press down the flakes or the foils or the glitter, whatever I'm using. And I don't get any dip base or any of the dip powder stuck on my skin, which is really nice because as you can see, my hands are excessively dry. So everything just kind of sucks into them anyways. So if I can avoid getting any dip powder or dip base anywhere on my skin, I'm definitely going to do it. Now, I love using these little dip cups to do foils, flakes, and glitters. Well, I use them for all of my manis to do all my colors, but I really like them for foils, especially, and flakes because, well, actually, and glitters, because you can like squish the dip back up together to really get the pieces you want up at the top. So like I kind of end up squishing the dip cup together on the sides and then shaking it up to make sure that the foils or whatever I'm using, flakes, glitters, come back up to the top where I want them to be so that when I lay my nail flat onto it, it just lays like right there where all the good pieces are that I want to pick up. This foil, I think it has like white, black, aqua, or teal, something. It's got a ton of different colors in it and it's a blue base. So I thought this would be super fun to show how you can match up a foil to a plaid design by keeping your two middle fingers very basic, like white color, and then doing a fun plaid on it. Well, as you saw from the very beginning, when I showed my mani, I don't even end up having any plaid design on the middle finger because that is how much of a disaster it was when I was trying to apply the plaid. But first we have to finish the dip powder. Whenever I'm using really any kind of dip powder, I like to make sure that I apply my liquids really thinly. It's better to do a higher number of thin layers than a lower number of thick layers. So thick dip nails tend to crack and chip and lift a lot easy, whereas if you do more layers and you do them thinner, they tend to not chip and crack and lift as easily. And since I have builder gel down on my natural nails, like I said, I only need to do 2 dips to get like the thickness that I want, because then I always top all of my colors no matter what kind of dip powder it is. If I'm using dip liquids, I top my colors with clear dip powder. That just protects them, and really, like, especially if you're using a glitter flake or foil, the clear powder over top protects them. Not only protects them when you're buffing and shaping, but it also fills in all the little nooks and crannies. So like, let's say your glitter is not perfectly laid flat, or the foil isn't perfectly flat. That's okay. If you top it with clear dip powder, you're going to get all those little nooks and crannies filled in really nicely with the clear dip powder. And as long as it's a crystal clear one, nobody's going to be able to tell that you even have clear dip powder on. So that's another reason why I absolutely love clear dip powder as my last dip of all of my dip nails when I'm using dip liquids. All clears are definitely not created equal. Some are a little bit cloudier than others. So if yours is a cloudier clear, make sure that you really brush off the excess powder well. That's going to keep it from not being quite as cloudy, but I prefer just to use a super crystal clear dip powder. I use OG's Original Glass because it is crystal clear. And it just makes things a little bit easier. Like if I forget to accidentally brush off the excess, it's okay. It'll still be really clear. But if you don't brush off the excess, then your nails are going to be extra thick. So you definitely want to try to remember to do that. Once you're done with your clear dip powder, you can go over and activate the rest of your nails that you didn't activate yet. So I'm activating my foil nails because I had already activated the white ones that I didn't get any foil contaminated in it. Once my activator dries the dips, then I go through and I do my filing, buffing, and shaping. I do that off camera, and then I wipe my nails with ice purple alcohol so we can jump right into the nail art. So we are doing chrome stamping. I have been wanting to try some new methods that I watched on YouTube and a bunch of other videos for a while. And let me just tell you, chrome stamping is really freaking messy, okay? You have to be ready for a mess. So the first method that I tried, well, pretty much the only method that I tried the entire time, was putting the chrome on a stamper. So I have a separate stamper that's just for chrome because I've tried this before, but I couldn't actually remember what I did. So I just watched a bunch of videos so that I could look and see what I was doing again. Okay, so I put the chrome on the stamper, and then I picked up the image. What I didn't do, and this is what I was realizing, was my sticky base got a little bit too dry on the first one. So I knew, okay, that's what I did wrong on the first pass. So I tried it again. I put the chrome on the stamper. Then I applied my sticky base. I quickly put new stamping polish down on the plate. And then I rolled the stamper on and then immediately put it on my nail. So I was hoping doing it this way would mean that it actually was able to stick. So it was, and I was so excited. But what I was realizing when I was doing this that was kind of disappointing was that the chrome didn't just go on the stamp part, it went on my entire nail. So when I was watching other people do the chrome, they always had it on a matte surface. I had it over top of sticky base. So I feel like had I done matte polish first, it would have looked a lot better and the chrome would have only stuck to the stamp and not to my entire nail. So I did some nail art the other day and used a matte nail polish top coat, and the effect that I was going for, it worked a lot better when I did it over top of the matte. So that's what I'm going to try next time for sure. So my ring finger went like, okay. I mean, it didn't look great, but it didn't look terrible. I'm like, all right, I can do this again. I can do the same thing. So I do it on my middle finger and I get the initial image down and then I go to press the white on and like nothing sticks. Because I wasn't thinking, I had the white done first. So the white already dried and there wasn't any sticky stamping polish underneath to get the white to stick. So if you're doing just like one layer of a stamp and you do your stamp first, you let it dry, you put your sticky base on, then you apply the stamp when it's still sticky, it's almost like you're doing a reverse stamp and it's going to stick. But I wasn't doing that. And did I think of that? No. So instead of realizing what I did at this point, I just kept doing the same thing over and over. I'm not even joking. I'm pretty sure that I did these nails like 15 times, or did my middle nail 15 times. I stopped keeping track. I was getting so frustrated, but like literally like, I'm like, I'm gonna do this. I'm so determined. That's why you see my middle nail look a little bit dark on the bottom, because I kept wiping off the stamping polish, and it's black stamping polish. So it's gonna stain your cuticles a little bit if you wipe it off and, you know, don't get all of it off. So I kept doing it and kept doing it, like trying to figure out what was going wrong, and my brain just was not figuring it out. I just could not realize what I was doing wrong. I was really tired. This was the second hand that I had done. I had already finished my left hand stamping, which, by the way, on my left hand, when I was going to top coat, I ended up wiping off the stamp with isopropyl alcohol. I was cleaning off the rest of my nails so I could do the top coating, literally not thinking at all, and then wiped it off with alcohol. So I ended up not even have stamping on that nail. But I got so frustrated with the middle nail after legitimately like 15 tries that I finally threw some sticky base on, waited until it got tacky, took the chrome that I was using, like dabbed some in. The chrome that I'm using is called Pearly Shine. It gives you like a beautiful pearly look that if you want something like that. And over black, it has like a almost bluish tint that I thought would look really good with the foil that I was using. So you can do chrome with sticky base. It's just not going to give you that really smooth chrome look. It's going to give you more of like a grainy type of chrome look, like basically like a glazy, grainy shimmer sheen, whatever you want to call it. But it works out really, really well if you just want a little pop of something. If you're watching this video and you're thinking, Nicole, I'm not ready for stamping and chroming, I'm still struggling with doing my dip nails, then I have two things that are going to help you. Number one, check out the first pinned comment. It has a link to my Dip Nails 101 guide that is 45 pages of everything you need to know to dip your nails at home. And then make sure you check out this next video where I go over how to get perfect cuticle lines. Thanks for joining me today, nail crew.